Welcome back to Totally Based. I'm Joey Gaskin. Vivek Ramaswamy is on a hot streak. This guy is taking a victory lap ever since his GOP debate last week, where he went scorched earth on Ronna McDaniel, the GOP chair, on Kristen Welker, who was one of the moderators, and he went scorched earth on the media as a whole, and he's not stopping there. Take a look at what he's been doing lately. I mean, because it's one thing after another. Take a look at this clip with Chris Cuomo.
Chris, give me a freaking break. You turn on social media, you understand. People should watch that debate. I went to New Hampshire. People were laughing at the idea of the mainstream media's coverage of the New York Times columnists and people like you who belong there with one narrative because you have some identity politic vision of what you think a leader of this country should look like.
Nikki Haley
when in fact
is
the
my
grassroots
Trojan
of this
horse?
country understand. Well, the fact of the matter is you guys have made a career out of deciding that the America First agenda is not the future of this country. Kick that out of the Republican Party. Put a genteel version that you can control as your little puppet so American politics looks the way you want it to. And yes, many people, you know what? We don't need a Republican Party leader who itself is a wholly owned subsidiary of Boeing, which itself is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Democratic Party, masquerading as a Republican.
And he didn't stop at Chris Cuomo. He also had another one with the CNN anchor here. Take a look.
That language, they live like vermin. Do you believe that that is, as your Republican colleague Chris Christie has said, neo-Nazi rhetoric?
This is a classic mainstream media move. Pick some individual phrase of Donald Trump, focus on literally that word without actually interrogating the substance of what's at issue.
The word was chosen for a reason.
We are in the middle of a cultural war in this country.
Well, you know what? It's
actually describing a series of behaviors. You have Antifa and other related groups that have been burning down cities for the last 3 years in this country.
Would you describe them as vermin?
Wildly violating the rule of law. We have an invasion on our southern border. We have millions of people crossing our southern border. Let's talk about the substance of why we have to recognize that we're not in ordinary times.
Would you use that language yourself?
The vocabulary of the vermin or not is not what's important. Well, I haven't used that language. So you can look at my track record on the campaign trail. I talk about the issues. We all talk about them differently. But what I'm not going to do is play some game of focusing on some word that somebody else said without ignoring entirely the substance of what we're actually talking about. A border crisis of historic proportion. Economic stagnation we haven't seen in 50 years. A national identity crisis and a loss of national pride in the next generation that's potentially existential for this country. Let's talk about our dependence on China. Today we're actually talking about Xi Jinping, picking on Donald Trump's word vermin to talk about that status quo. You know what's vermin? What's running around San Francisco on a given day before Gavin Newsom cleaned it up on a dime to roll out the red carpet for Xi Jinping. If he could do that for Xi Jinping, he could have done it on an ordinary day, and yet we're here sitting talking not about the substance of that, but on one word that Donald Trump said in some speech in Miami. This is what's wrong with the mainstream media. Focus on the substance and let's have an actual policy debate rather than talking to a presidential candidate instead of the policy substance of what's actually going on in the country, picking on some word that Donald Trump said on a certain day and asking me for comment on it. Give me a break.
All right, so in case you're wondering what's gotten into Ramaswamy lately, like where's all this fire coming from, I would have to point directly at Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson had Vivek on his show prior to the debate, and he actually coached him on what to say and his talking points and his opening statement on the debate that night. Take a look at this clip here.
Yes. I cannot believe that you're going to have to listen to Kristen Welker or Lester Holt.
Maybe that should be my opening statement.
Like, that is unbelievable. Opening statement?
I like it. Except for the other one that was...
I got some other messages, too, to get out tonight.
Yeah, you got an important one.
Yeah.
But I think it's all part of that same thing. This is those people who still think they have power in the Republican Party because the base has left them. We don't want...
They've left the base, dictating to...
No, the base has left them behind, and they're trying to drag us down with them.
Oh, they're going to be so upset because these snooty, persnippety moderators to be compared to Greg Gutfeld, and then it'll throw them off. It'll throw them off their game so bad because you'll be like, you people are clowns to us, right? Like our base doesn't like you. Yeah. And it's nothing personal. Yeah. It's just you've earned it, right? You've lied to them.
That's right.
And
consistently.
Yes. So why are we allowing you to be our inquisitors? This is such a broken RNC. This is such a This is such a broken system.
You're obviously going to decide someone who's more palatable to you, which is the base.
That's right.
Neocon.
Man, people will sing on that one.
You think I should open with it?
The Fox host.
I kind of like it.
Do you think I should just open with
Fox's
it?
debate, right?
No.
So, like, they'll.
No, but it's also just in general. Just start with like based on what happened. I just say I had a different pre-canned opening statement, but I'm not going to give that one because last night was a disaster.
Well done.
And we have to acknowledge the system is broken. This Republican Party is broken, and ask ourselves what the hell we're doing.
Yes.
Right? This is the people here. I mean, Ronna McDaniel should not be rewarded with the leadership of the RNC. She should step aside. Somebody more capable should step up to channel the anger against Joe Biden to actually win elections. Mm-hmm. The fact that we have these three jokers sitting here instead of Tucker Carlson and Joe Rogan or Elon Musk or Charlie Kirk or anybody else who could be moderating this debate, Greg Gutfeld, who could be moderating this debate, aren't. It'd be the equivalent of having Greg Gutfeld moderating a Democratic debate to have Kristen Welker sitting here tonight. This is us being here right now in this setting is everything that is wrong with this Republican Party.
Do you think the DNC would allow Greg Gutfeld to moderate a debate with Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders on stage?
No. I think that's really. That's actually really, And then ask you.
It's precisely what they're doing to you.
Because so that's why this debate is already broken. And then you've got establishment stooges on stage that represent what's wrong with the party. You got Joe Biden collecting checks from Ukraine, sending money back to Ukraine. You got Nikki Haley doing it from defense contractors and somehow clamoring for war. Everything wrong with this party.
Zing.
Yeah.
Surprised she wants to.
Actually, maybe that's just what we do.
I like it.
You'll throw them so off their game. They'll be so enraged to be compared to Greg Gutfeld. They'll be so angry. And the audience will see what you'll do is you'll do the Trump Megyn Kelly thing where like you turn the audience on the hosts and then they're like so off balance they won't be able to.
Yeah. I kind of like it.
I really like
All
it.
right, man, we just changed our plan.
Cool.
I kind of like this,
I
actually.
like it a lot.
I kind of like it.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
We do this for a living. It's all I do.
That's where we start. Yeah.
I just do pattern recognition and energy. And the energy would be on this topic right now.
I just have to say, I love what Benny did here. He taught Vivek something. He taught him about narration. Every book, every film, every TV show has a narrator, but you never see the narrator, right? Even now, as you're watching this on YouTube, there's this wall behind me, there's a wall to my right, and there's a wall to my left, but you guys can't see the wall in front of me. You can't see what I'm looking at. And so that is what Benny taught Vivek. He taught him how to break the fourth wall, how to turn the camera around and to become the narrator. And so that's what he did on GOP debate night. He turned the camera around on Kristen Welker and he asked her questions like, tell me about the Russian hoax. Tell me about Hillary Clinton and her campaign. Tell me about that, right? He became the narrator. And I feel that's something that he's taking into every room with him now. That's something that he's added to his tool bag, and I love it. So did you like that video? Well, if you did, you can always find more like it right here. And as always, stay tuned here on Totally Based for more news and culture. See you guys.